Dude, that was fucking loose and like.
Hey everybody, this is Jody, and you're watching the J-MOTO channel. We've got an awesome video in store for you today. My buddy Chris and I are taking on the Whipsaw on our KTM adventure bikes, and it's a good one. Don't want to miss it. Stick around. Thanks for tuning in. This intro is a little short because the video is a bit longer than usual. Enjoy. All right, picking up where we left off. We just left the lake, and we head into the first little section of trail. It's pretty flat. And I thought I'd mention, so we're doing this in early September, so I can only imagine what this place would look like in the spring after all the snow had melted. It would be an absolute mud fest. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking about doing the Whipsaw, definitely check the time of year that you're going, because I would not want to do this in June. May, June, the Alpine runoff is coming down, and all the rain, because you'd be completely soaked. Your bike would be a complete disaster.
Definitely not gonna try that mud. Yeah, it looks kind of shallow there, but I doubt it is. Right down the center, or try one of the skinnies? I'm gonna go down the center. You nailed the board right away.
So both Chris and I are very excited we didn't fall off the bridge into the nasty mud puddle that's sat below us. And we started heading up the trail a little ways, and we started to encounter a lot of the same stuff. Trenches and mud bogs, rutted out sections. And some of the puddles are a lot deeper than you think. So after we break out of the woods a little bit, we start to climb this hill, and after the hill, the road starts to open up. We're in a little bit of Alpine. We can go a little faster, so we start getting some air through those radiators and cool the bikes down.
This is the playground. That was good.
So if you've done any research on the Whipsaw, you will know there's tons of little obstacles as you go. And this is one of the bigger features that we came across, and it's called the playground. And Jeeps and trucks will climb and descend that rock face that was just on my left. And Chris and I just wanted to go up and take a look. We weren't ready today to go down that or up it on the bikes that we're on. So after we left the playground, we get into this gradual descent, and it just kept going and going and going. All the rocks are pretty loose, and it was fairly technical. Chris and I didn't have too many spills on the trip, but there definitely were a few. This one was one of the more spectacular ones. I think Chris grabbed a little too much front brake and hit one of the roots there on the right.
You okay?
But he always gets back up. He's a champ. So as we're rolling into this section, we have really no idea what we're about to come up against, and we're about to roll into Falcon Hill, which is kind of the crux of the whole Whipsaw Trail. Anyway, these 4x4 guys, they were just telling us there was a truck and trailer ahead of us, kind of parked on the right side of the road, so we could still get by, but they're in the road. And because we are doing this trail in the counter-clockwise direction, Chris and I get to go down this hill, which is an advantage to riders that don't know what they're going to be up against. The hill isn't actually all that hard. The thing that actually makes it tough is there's two wheel ruts and everything is bone dry and super loose. And on the left, I can't put my foot down. So I'm forced to use my right foot to dab when I need to, but that pretty much makes it so I can't use the rear brake and I'm relying on the front. Otherwise I wouldn't be babying my bike down this hill.
That's the way it's gotta be. Dude, that was
Fucking loose.
loose, and like the uphill side, you had to use your right foot or you're gonna fall over.
Yeah.
So you can't touch your rear brake.
Yeah, yeah.
And your front brake just sliding out.
Yeah, so I'm using like brake and clutch.
So for anyone that is contemplating doing this trail in the clockwise direction, when you do approach this hill, it's pretty long and gradual like this for quite a while. And then when you get to that corner, that's where you could actually take a break and look at the top if you wanted to. When we got close to the top, I realized I was getting up Chris's butt pretty good, so I decided to hang back for a second and let him go ahead.
Give him some room.
And then I went to take off and didn't give it enough gas and stalled it, and down she went.
Oh. Struggle is real. Whew. Dropped it.
Yeah, so I got a little squirrely there.
Huh? Fuck, I think both our rear ends were skipping from side to side.
Is called Paddy's Pond, and there's a structure there. You can see that people definitely spend the night if they were doing a 2-day trip, but it made for a great spot to have some lunch and relax a little bit. We're about at the halfway point of our trip, so we've still got a fair ways to go and then get back to Pemberton today, so it's time to hit the road.
We're back on the trail. Just had a little lunch at this cool lake. I'm gonna let Chris get a little head start. So far the trail's been awesome. It's been kind of fun at times, challenging at others. You never really know what you're gonna stumble upon. But in the beginning of the trail was awesome. Mellow, flowy, lots of dips and water ditches and stuff, and it's not often you get to choose a line. Usually you're stuck in a single track. There's not that many line options. When you're in a double track, you always have a few. Kinda neat. Yeah. Fuck, I went into that in third gear.
That climb?
I don't think our fan shut off his entire trip from maybe 2K into the trail. That poor fan ran the whole way. Because when you're going up this stuff, there's no airflow. And that big 990cc motor is definitely pumping out some heat. So this section just went on forever. It was really fun because it was kind of this sustained uphill that just kept going. And it was fairly tech. I don't know what happened to Chris there. I think he must have stalled his bike. That last section was one of my favorites of the whole trip. That long uphill mixed with the loose surface and the corners, and it just really had everything. But now we're getting into some Alpine, something to speed things up a little bit and have some fun.
Yeah.
Good, eh?
So much fun, man.
Like that little rock wall.
Yeah, that was spicy.
From the bottom, it just looked like you can only see like half of it.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh.
Oh fuck, it's a rock wall.
And then it's like off camber
Yeah.
and then sharp.
But the good thing is, at least it was like not round. It was like sharp edges. So you knew your tire was gonna track up it. You really haven't gone that far.
Oh, I was afraid you were gonna say that.
Like we're still in that first climb.
So reality just kicked in right there. We're about halfway through our trip through the Whipsaw, and we still have to finish the rest of it and then drive from Princeton back to Pemberton. And it's about 3 o'clock. So we've definitely got our work cut out for us.
And right under Dick's cabin there's a sticker that says I love meth. It's funny, guys never take pictures of themselves or...
Yeah, it's always just their bike.
Yeah.
Pictures of my girlfriend, pictures of my bike.
Yeah.
The last section of the Whipsaw, thankfully, was pretty fast, and we managed to get through it pretty quick. Looking back, this was an amazing ride, and I highly recommend anyone else thinking about it, go out there and do it. 3 things that I will pass along, though. Give yourself enough time to do this trail. Don't feel rushed, and don't push yourselves on the way home like we did. Number 2 would be leave the camping gear at the campsite, do the trail, come back, pick it up, and then go, because the trail would be a lot more fun if I didn't have 60 pounds of gear in the back. And then number 3, run your tires a little lower than I did. I think I had 20 pounds in mine, and it was definitely a bit bumpy. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. Really appreciate you guys checking the channel out. Thanks for all the commenting, subscribing, liking, all that kind of stuff. Really appreciate you guys. The only reason I make these videos is to connect with you guys. That's why I do it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.